All right, and that's fine, because we're professionals, and this is how it goes. So they need to see the back history on the workings of it, so I don't mind if they.
So we're on a 3 shot?
Yeah, we are.
We're on a 3 shot, so I'm not in the shot.
I'm not in either, so where your camera's at?
The camera's right here, the camera's pointed right here, so if you're sitting next to him, you'll be in the shot. You gotta be sitting down there.
Wow. I don't.
See, pull up.
Pull up.
Yeah.
You guys are
Now you're in
hilarious.
the shot.
What about the microphone? Mic good? Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6,
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
7, 8, 9, 10. Whoa, this is.
Could you imagine if I tried getting here at 1:30?
This is what you deal with live TV, live radio. This is just what it is.
All right,
Yeah, we're breaking the fourth wall.
so you can hear me on your cell phone clear even though I'm here, right?
Huh?
You can hear me and him and her.
It's popping. But that doesn't mean it'll stay doing that.
No, I'm just saying, but we can
Okay.
be heard.
It's not doing it right now.
So we're heard clear now, right?
we are.
You're really clear.
Something fell.
We got it.
So now, last question before we start the show. With the phone calls calling in, so who's going to be
Hello? Okay.
whose phone are we going to use?
Okay, apparently mine for right now. If there's a problem, we'll switch to the line here.
Okay.
Okay, so mic check.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Where are you?
Testing 1,
Okay.
2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing 1, 2.
And
Testing 1, 2.
something's. Can you turn that? Something's on.
That's me on the delay. You want me to turn?
Yes.
You want me to mute it?
Yep.
Oh,
Okay, so this is the only thing. Since this computer, I'm not getting audio out of it. No music at all. So we're just gonna have to talk. All right. So we could actually begin. Oh, I never forwarded the number. We'll just. Do you have this number? We'll just gonna use this. We'll use this next week. This is already 207.
Yeah.
We'll just use this number.
That's fine.
All right. If this is working. Okay. Okay. Good enough. All right.
Awesome.
All right. If you are listening right now over Facebook, we are live right here. So we're going to start.
Yes.
Are you ready? Is everyone ready?
Oh, we ready.
Okay.
Okay.
In 5, 4, 3. All right, good afternoon, everybody. You are listening to WVSR 1360 AM, Philly Hot Radio, and Philly Funk Radio. You are listening to Talk Live Philly, featuring Van, Antoinette, and David, and of course myself, Jerry. We'll be talking about a host of different topics today on our show.
Yes.
If you would like to give us a call, Antoinette, what's the phone number
Yes,
so that
the
they can
call-in
call?
number at Philly Hot Radio is 484-477-6348. That's 484-477-6348. Come on, callers, call in. Let us know about different issues of your concern. But one of our topics we're going to be talking about today, it's in reference to mental illness disorders. We're going to be talking about a lot of different issues when it comes to mental disorders, only in reference to a lot of people within our community. It's like a stigma. You don't want to talk about certain issues regarding mental illnesses. So we just want to break down a little bit, from time to time, we all go through major depression, or it may not be so major, but we just wanted to talk to you just in reference to a lot of different stigmas in the black community, and not just the black community, but other areas in reference to mental illnesses, because you have a variety of them. You have a clinical depression, you have anxiety, you have bipolar, you have dementia, you have schizophrenia. There's a variety of issues that's out there that a lot of us, you don't want to talk about it, but it's important to talk about because no one is exempt from mental illness at all. So if you guys want to come in and talk about issues in reference to it, give us a call. Like I said, our call-in number is 484-477-6348. That's 484-477-6348. And I'm going to pass this over to our colleagues over here. Van?
All right, so good afternoon, everybody. Saturday, and normally the show will start at 2 o'clock, 2 to 3. We're having a little technical difficulty as we are broadcasting live on PhillyHopRadio.com. Of course, we're in the studio, as already said, Antoinette to my right, David Anthony. I gotta get used to saying that. You know what I mean? And of course, to my left, who's handling all the mechanics here, engineer Jerry Wilson from Philly Funk Radio. So we have basically a simultaneously broadcast going on Facebook Live somewhere on Facebook. I really don't know, but I'm going to guess. If you go to Jerry Wilson Facebook Live, it will come up. And hopefully, if you go to Van Stone Latin World Facebook Live, it will come up. And, it's supposed to be YouTube, of course, really not really YouTube. So, we've already started the conversation.
Yes.
Mental health. It's a lot of stuff going on in mental health. So I'm just going to jump in. Mental health is really not, in the black community, taken seriously enough. That's really the bottom line. So the short of that with mental health is most of the time, people who have mental health are suffering so bad that when it comes to suicide, here's what's interesting. They still have self-preservation first. So in other words, even though they feel so terrible that they want someone to die, to end it, they decide to kill someone else. Wow. That's how that works with suicide. So when a person has mental health issues, they still want to live. They just want to kill the issue that's going on. Something has to happen to kill this and stop this. And so it's not them first. Mm-hmm. And this is the alarming situation. So when you don't understand suicide and you see a person behaving unusual, you really have to take that person seriously.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And I believe, too, a lot of people, they have a stigma on it. They don't want to talk about the issue. We see it every day in our communities. We see it on every street corner. Like, I truly believe it's something that needs to be addressed. But at the same time, you're not here to judge anyone. We as individuals, we walk past plenty of people that's homeless, and they have a variety of a background. I mean, you can't judge a book by its cover. You don't know what their story is, and it's a shame that a lot of people within the community, they don't have the proper resources, the proper income in reference to talk about these issues. And it's very important. I know, personally, we all have someone that we know that suffers from either mild depression or severe depression or all kinds of mental illnesses. So it's very important that it's just a topic that's, very dear to my heart, and I think it's important to address.
Right. In the mental health community, first thing is denial.
Yes.
No one wants to be what's considered not normal. So you might notice something's wrong, something's different. The person's not acting like themselves, or what you expect them to be a normal person. Mm-hmm. That person, of course, goes into a defense mechanism, which is natural. And so when denial comes in, it could take a real long time to even get that person to be convinced that there is something going on. And even when they know there's something going on with them, because there's something going on with everybody, mm-hmm. then of course they want to still be treated with respect and dignity just like everybody else. And that's where the battle comes in. It's real hard. It's real difficult, to try to get a person with mental health to get some help, because most of the time they feel what they're doing is normal.
Yes.
Don't need any help. I don't need no help. It's you.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in the Black American community, everybody has someone dealing with mental health issues,
Yes.
for sure. And it could be us, even one of us sitting in this room, because there's no warning signs. When mental health happens, something just breaks. It stops working.
Yes.
And when it happens, you're still functioning, you feel normal,
Yeah.
but you're not. So that's just also one of the parts of the mental health situation too.
Yes.
Yeah, I found this to be a sensitive subject because my former job, I worked in healthcare with the mental healthcare and all at the school, and I'm not going to put it out because of HIPAA law, but I, for the first time in my life, got to working with children from ages 5 on up. And it was like really amazing to me to see how many children in the world are suffering from something within that means of mental disorder. And it's really sat in my heart because of what I saw on my daily work routine. And I had my own one-on-one, and it's just amazing. It's like a little city within itself. And I mean, just to see it is to believe it. And I was in disbelief because I didn't think that many kids really suffered from it. And I've seen some things, really dangerous situations I've been in. And, I think a lot of people in the world suffer from lack of love, lack of support, lack of something in their life. And if they don't have that second person or third to talk to,
Yes.
and really tell what's going on, because a lot of people think they're being ignored and they want attention, but they're going through it the wrong way, then it's not going to come across in a natural way.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you feel as though within the community that, within the Black community, that is this subject matter, is it where as though they're being ashamed of talking about this issue, or they don't have the proper resources?
I don't know. I think some people just walk and they think nothing's wrong with them, and they just walking through life on their daily routines and don't even address it, don't want someone else to notice it or to even bring it up. So sometimes there might be a lack of resource because a lot of people don't research, and sometimes you got to be careful with what's going on in this world. You really got to be mindful of what you're researching, because a lot of this stuff is spam, a lot of this is scam, and you just really have to be careful as to me who you know.
Right. Okay.
Have that information, because then you know it's right, because they have the information and it's been distributed around.
Okay. And do you feel as though, like, a lot of the people, they don't know the signs, like they can't recognize some of the signs of mental health disorders? You have where it's the clinical depression, and that's, the definition for that is like mental health disorder. The characteristics of that is you're persistently being depressed, in a depressed mood of loss of interest in activities, causing insignificant impairment in a daily, on your daily living. So I just wanted to find out information in reference to that. If it's any of our listeners out there that, pretty much if you have issues or know of anyone that's suffering from mental health issues, you can give us a call, like our call-in number here. It's 484-477-6348. That's 484-477-6348. And we can provide you with some resources after we come back from the break.
So, well, we're not going to have any music break, so while we're setting up for the next segment, you have a guest who's going to participate in calling coming up. So while we set that up, we can continue with the next part of our discussion, or we'll continue on in the topic. So while we're getting ready, so and this caller is going to be talking about what?
This is a good friend of mine's, John Hall, no other than AKA the Boss Man. And he's sharing some of his point of views as far as the entertainment field, what he did, who he is, so he can be heard. And he wants to also let people know upcoming events coming up.
Okay. So what type of events before we, so we can prepare the listeners what this person do before we get them on the phone?
Sure, well, he was with Philly Cream, his background, and he did so much other stuff, and he has an event coming up for the Mother's Day, and no person can tell you how it is but John Hall.
Okay, so John Hall hasn't picked up yet. While we're trying to get him, you need to give us a little more information about him until we pick up the phone. Oh, it sounds like there's something
there
there.
he is.
Hey, John. Hello.
Hello?
Okay.
Yeah, John?
Yeah, who's calling?
Okay, there you go.
Hey, what's up, John? This is David.
Hey, what's going on, bitch? How you doing, man?
All right, man. I told you I was going to give you a call.
You're on the air, by the way.
Yeah, John, tell us who you are, man, and what you got coming up.
That's a break in the phone line. That's what's
Yeah.
going on. He's still there, but it's a break. So to know what's going on.
Yeah, John, he's been around a long, long time, and I met him through some other entertainers, and he does like a lot of shows, and he comes from a recording artist, back in the day when Philly Cream and some of the other artists were out there. And so he's been doing entertainment for a long time as a professional. Plus he does James Brown.
Hello.
There you go.
There you go. All right.
What's up, John?
How you doing, Mickey? How you been?
Yes, you're live, man. This is John, everyone. Good friend of mine's, and no person can tell you who he is but John Hall. Give it to him, boss man.
Well, my career goes way back to, he started back in 1978 with the Flamingo Dancers. Two brothers that I met when I was around about 14 years old. Will, Soup, Bill, Bodie, Rob, Cadillac, Lil Fred. These cats, they was well known throughout the city of Philadelphia as the Flamingo Dancers. And I wound up joining them as one of their youngest members. And when they stopped, I carried their name on and wound up going on the Al Albert Showcase, joining up with Channel 6, traveling with them.
Uh-huh.
And in the year of 1984, we got a break because we went on tour with James Brown for about 6 months. And I returned back to the city of Philadelphia. We performed at the Uptown Theater. Mm-hmm. And we got a break on that show through Broadway Eddie and Miss Cherie Galloway. They had wrote a song dedicated to Michael Jackson. Excuse me. And me and the dancers, we wound up being chosen as the ones to do this album. It was a great blessing. We got a chance to meet Michael. Mm-hmm. He approved everything. We went under the name the Broadway Thrillers because Broadway Eddie was in charge, and they were the ones that was financing everything at that time.
Okay.
So they didn't take away from us. We still knew who we were. We were the Flamingo Dancers. But that was a great blessing in our career, in my career, and all the Flamingo Dancers in their career. That now today, to bring you up to date, what's going on? Because I've done America's Got Talent.
Uh-huh.
I also am one of the winners of Showtime at the Apollo. I done performed with Morris Day and the Tom, Miss Stephanie Mills. I can go on and on. But to bring you up to date what's going on. I'm doing shows in Texas, and also I'm doing concerts in Orlando. And right now we're getting ready to do the Mother's Day show here in Atlantic City. Under Platinum Entertainment, they're bringing in Miss Stephanie Mills, After 7, Miss Angela Burton, and me, myself, John the Boss Man.
Awesome, awesome.
You know, we're going to open that show up. And, you know, we got many more things coming, you know, my way. But, you know, like I say, God is good. And, you know, he blesses you when you actually have yourself physically, mentally, and spiritually put together.
You got
Yes.
You have to be in that form, you know. And as an entertainer, you know, it gives me great pleasure to travel the world and perform as the Godfather of Soul, James Brown, because that's who I go as. I'm not an impersonator of James Brown,
Right.
but I am one that actually knows his show and know how to implement, you know, James Brown on that stage. And I do it to really actually keep his legacy alive,
Right.
because he was one of the great, just as well as my manager now. Yes, my manager now is Miss Brenda Wilson, the daughter of the late and great Jackie Wilson, you know, who was actually in Motown, and she went into my background and saw how many years I had been performing, which is the total of 40 years. And, you know, she did the research and she came up with the album and got all the document proof. And today I'm proud to say that, you know, God has blessed me to be an inductee
Yes.
into the Jackie Wilson Foundation Hall of Fame.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So my work will go in the museum down in Motown. And, you know, me and Brenda Wilson, we have a great relationship. I mean, she's a very beautiful, beautiful woman. I mean, heart and spirit, you know. She has a tour that's getting ready to start off called Offsprings of the Legends. And on this tour, you know, we have people like David Ruffin, his daughter, you know, Sherry Ruffin. We got people like Muddy Waters, who used to do with Cadillac Records. We had his son Joe, you know, on the show. We got Paul Williams Jr., who's the son of Paul Williams from The Temptations. I mean, you know, Marvin Gaye's daughter, you know, Nona Gaye. I mean, this is a team that, you know, is built with the professionalism behind it. And I had the pleasure of coming aboard and joining them. And also we have on this concert the very lovely ladies called the Step Girls, who are the sisters and the nieces of Levi Stubbs, you know, from the Four Tops and Butch, you know. I mean, you know, it's just a good, beautiful team down there that's working with Brenda Wilson. You know, this woman, I mean, she came into my life and she seen that most people say I'm a born entertainer, you know, and I strive to be that, and I strive to keep, you know, this R&B music alive, you know, that we are losing very fast.
Yeah.
But we have to keep our legacy alive. And that was one thing that when they presented me with the state of Michigan, which is Detroit and Motown, you know, with the honorees awards, you know, induction into the foundation, and then another one from the state itself, recognizing and documenting and putting the Flamingo Dancers history and also Philly Cream history, which has come to be part of my history.
Right.
You know, and it's all documented now, you know, and put inside the museum.
That's awesome.
So that's a great achievement for anyone that's in the entertainment business. You know, I had someone call me and they said, well, you didn't have a gold record. How did you get into the Hall of Fame? I said, I didn't do it. I said, God did it.
Yes, yes,
I said, God did it. I didn't do it. All I did was put the work in. You know, God said, you make one step, he'll make two for you.
yes.
You know?
That's
So,
awesome.
I just, you know, keep my faith. You know what I mean? You know, and I move forward and, I help those that I see that has that talent. When I see people that have talent and I know, I look for a certain thing in you when I look at you. I look at your professionalism. I look at how you deliver.
Right.
You know what I mean? I look at your stage presence. You know, because this lets me know, have you had artist development or not? You know, I mean, these are the things that I look at as an artist myself, coming from the streets of Philadelphia and performing all over. You know, but I had good people behind me that actually took me serious. People like Mimi Brown from WDAS.
Yes.
You know, Mimi used to be my manager for almost 10 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? And still today, you know, she's a very beautiful woman, and she still supports me and lets me know to continue to keep going
Yes,
and to
yes.
keep going. You know, also Lady B. You know, me and Lady B go way back. We do a lot of concerts together with the Flamingo Dancers.
Yes.
You know, and Bobby Dance, and, you know, we do a lot of things, you know, but we all come up, you know, grinding hard, you know, we still on our grind. I'm still on my grind.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You know, even though that, you know, God has blessed me to achieve certain things in my life, you know, I'm not done. I'm not done, you know, and I don't think, you know, I'll ever be done. You know, I want to, you know, leave. I left a legacy, which is good. So now it's time to see, you know, what else my path has for me. So far, everything's been going great, you know. I have no complaints. No
Awesome.
complaints. You know, I mean, my career is focused. I'm managing artists. I have a beautiful young woman, rapper. Her name is Boss Lady London. You know, she has a new video out now that we just got finished completing. Her new song is called Cash Money, No Limit.
All right.
You know, yeah, and I just got finished doing a video with my other artist, Anthony Lewis. You know, and I want them to get distinction because it's Anthony B. Lewis.
Yes.
You know, Anthony B. Lewis, he is an R&B, you know, sensation coming up, and he's a writer. He has a new song out. You know, I'm in this video as well as doing, you know, some background and,
Awesome.
you know, making a cameo appearance in this video. So, I mean, I've just been moving around here and there. You know, my cousin Steve Green, also Russell Tompkins Jr., you know, who is the original lead singer for Stylistics.
Yeah.
You know, then my other cousin, Mars Gardner, who was the lead singer for a group back in the day, in the 50s and them days, was called the Dream Lovers. You know, they had a hit record out called Darling, When We Get Married. You know, so, you know, I get to say that I'm being blessed and I'm being happy, and, you know, you know how we was, Mickey, we had a lot to prove to people, man, you know. It's like, I ain't got to prove that no more.
Right.
You know, God has led me down that path, and he said, you know, I'm gonna guide you. You know, continue.
awesome.
You're gonna have the bumps in the road.
That's right.
You're gonna have those who may hate you. You know, you're gonna have those that, you know, love you. You know what I mean? You got to deal with that. This is all part of,
Yes.
you know, this training, you know,
Yes.
that we go through.
Yes,
you know?
John, it's Antoinette speaking here. Welcome to Philly Hot Radio. Listen, I wanted to ask a question to you. What advice would you give up and coming artists of today that's trying to make it in the music industry?
Well, one thing, you have to love what you do. That's the first and foremost. You have to love it, you know, and you have to put the work in.
Yes.
I mean, and I know everybody say, I do put the work in, I do this show, I do that show, I do this show. But you have to have the determination to leave your city. And you have to go somewhere else. And I advise them, any entertainer, make your first stop the Apollo Theater.
Yes.
You get past that Apollo Theater, you got something.
Oh, yeah,
My,
definitely.
my first time there, I won. First time.
Yes, yes.
You know, I mean, I had performed for many years, and that was one of my father's dreams for me to go and do the Apollo.
Okay.
So I'll tell anyone that's coming up, you want to really test what you got, you go deal with that New York crowd. Okay?
Right.
Oh, that's
You go deal with
awesome.
that New York crowd.
Yes.
And that New York crowd is going to let you know if you're an entertainer or if you're a real singer or whatever you are.
Yes.
You're going to find out.
They
when
will
you go
let
in front
you
of that
know.
New York crowd.
Yes.
You know? And like I say, any new artist that's coming along, my advice to them is stay focused. Hey, Mom. Is to stay focused. This is it. Right here, Frida. To play here.
Yeah. John, you have to
hold
let
on,
us know
hold on.
where our listeners can get the tickets for the Mother's Day Festival that's coming up with After 7 and Stephanie Mills and yourself as well.
Okay. Yes, get the tickets for that. We have a link. I have a link that I can send out to people so they can get their tickets.
Okay.
But I believe they have it. It's on the poster. I'll send one over to you because I didn't really. I'm usually just getting back, you know.
Yeah, I understand. I know it's
Yeah, I'm just
Platinum
getting
Shows
back.
production. I know that. Yes.
I'm just getting back. So I mean, but I love. I mean, y'all radio show sounds very.
Thanks, John. We hope to
John.
hear from you again, too.
Yes, and keep in touch and keep us informed of your up and coming shows and what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
You can always call in or
Before I do the Stephanie Mills show, I will be going to Texas.
okay.
May the 3rd. I'm going to Texas. I'll be with Blue Magic, and I'll be with the Ebonies. We're all gonna be together.
Okay.
Awesome.
So we're going to call you
Down there, then I
again,
work my way
John.
back over here to get ready for Stephanie Mills and
Okay.
After 7. Yes.
And John,
Matter of fact, this is my second time performing with Stephanie Mills. You
John,
know what I'm saying?
John, we have to
You
go
know-
to break right now. We appreciate you calling. We're gonna go to break right now, and we'll be back.
Let them finish, let them conclude.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Finish.
so John, we're going to call you before that day because we need to get you back on, man, so you can give us that information to the audience.
Oh yeah.
And the shows
that's Mother's
coming
Day,
up.
May the 10th. You know,
Okay.
we're going to,
The
you know,
Ocean Resort. Yes.
Yes, and the other ones too, John,
Ocean
that's
Hotel
coming up.
Resort Casino.
Yes.
All right. Because we're going to need those other ones as well.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. Anytime. I mean, you know, Nikki, you can always call me, and you know, I love to come on your show and let everybody know what's
Yes.
going on, what we're doing. You know, I mean, you know, everything has been going great. I mean, really great,
Absolutely.
you know,
We
like I
love you,
said,
man.
know, God has really been blessing me, and I have no worries. I mean, you know, He has removed all that from me now.
Yes.
Okay.
And we go far
Okay.
back,
So, I
John.
mean,
We
I'm
love you,
thankful.
man. And
All right,
you're
so-
a great person.
All right, so we're going to go on. This is Van Stone, WVSR 1360. I'm here with my fellow team, Antoinette,
Yes.
David, Anthony. I got to get used to saying your name, man. I'm sorry, because it's a great name, but I got to get used to putting it together. And, of course, over here, handling the board, the mixers, and everything else, the sound, Jerry Wilson. So while we're dealing with this show, we are dealing with technical difficulty, but we are managing it. So we just want you to know you need to follow us and stay close. Our live shows are really scheduled every Saturday from 2 to 3. You can go to fpnwvsr.org. You can go to phillyfunkradio.com.
Yes.
And, of course, any information that you need to get in touch with Antoinette personally and also David Anthony, you can go on Facebook. So go ahead. You have something to say before we go to the next piece?
Yeah, everybody out there, understand this is very highly technical what we're doing over here. We're broadcasting 3 different places at one time. We're, of course, broadcasting on Philly Hot Radio. We're broadcasting on Philly Funk Radio. We're also broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook right now. So I'm in control of the board as well as making sure everything's going over on all platforms. So there's bound to be a little bit mistakes, but you know what? Hey, I think we have a good show. I think it sounds great. So let me throw it back to Van.
All right, so it's 2:30 now in the afternoon, Saturday, of course, and it's sunny skies. The weather is pretty nice.
It's beautiful.
This evening is supposed to go down to about 20. So we're going up and down just to let you know what's happening in Philadelphia. Weather-wise, tomorrow is going to be great, sunny, and close to 56 degrees. Monday, it's supposed to be up in the 60s. That being said, we're going to set up our next call, our next segment. We need to call Warren Bloom. While we're waiting to see if we can get Warren Bloom on the line, Warren Bloom is actually a longtime Philadelphian. He deals with several issues dealing with politics, but not just politics, but what's happening in other things in the community. I want to talk about something very, very important right now, because if we don't get into that while we're bringing Warren on, it would just be really disrespectful. The virus is here. So while you're dialing up Warren, getting him on the line, this is a serious issue, okay? And it's not something to be ignored. So whether people see this segment through repeat recording or they're listening live, they really need to pay attention to this. Right now, the virus is all over right now, including the state, nearby state, New Jersey, including here in Pennsylvania, and it's also local. Unfortunately, it is also here. It is in Philly. The update is that there was just one case in Delaware County. So Philly, Delaware County, we're all the same. So we don't really know what to do to prepare for this. It's sort of like a movie. The way
Yes,
that
I agree.
All right, Warren.
Warren, okay, we're gonna pause to make sure Warren is here. Yeah, we're on the air.
Yeah, this is Jerry. We're about to go on the air. You're not on the air yet. I was just letting you know that we're about to go on. Hold on.
All right, so while we're bringing Warren in live, and he can just pick up with the conversation, because I just want to make sure that we touch on this, because we don't have that much time to conclude the show or go to the next segment, which is supposed to be a sports segment. I just want to give a shout out too for our whole team. We have Eli Latson is handling sports.
Warren, can you hear
We
us?
have Janet Powell, who has yet to get to the show. This is our second show, by the way. Janet Powell has been long time broadcasting from her own program called Janet House. So she's part of our team. And we have a few other people who are part of the team. But while we're discussing this right now, so this virus is here. It's in Delaware County.
Yes.
And it's worse than just a regular flu,
Can't hear me.
because with this virus, you have to be quarantined.
Yes.
And they're talking about
Warren, I'm going to call you back.
the average American is doing so bad
Okay, I'll
that
call you right back.
you should have been able to have $400 savings in case of emergency. And they're saying that the average American doesn't even have that. But when they talk about the average American, they're not talking about black America.
Right.
They're talking about white America. So white America is in trouble and they don't have $400. Then what do we have as black Americans? We have nothing. So we don't have, we tell him hold, because we can hear him.
Yeah.
So hold on. So because of the fact that the black American community is going to really be devastated more than the white American community, the fact that we don't even have anything saved. And that means that if you can't go to work for 14 days, most likely you're going to lose your job. So this thing is really, is very serious.
Yes.
It is affecting primarily mainly older people, but they still don't really have the answer to it. They're talking about even if your pet may go nearby someone that has it, then you can still be infected based on having a pet. So it's just, it's really a crazy situation that's going on. So we really need to be aware of that, of the virus and how it
Yes.
affects.
And we really need to know how to properly wash our hands. They say it takes at least about 20 seconds to properly wash your hands, so you can avoid being contacted by this virus. This is very serious, it's deadly. So we, as a community, we must inform each other of, trying to stay healthy during this time.
Well, let me say this. Warren, you there?
Yes.
All right, hold on 1 second. We're gonna bring you in right to this conversation. Everyone, this is Warren Bloom on the line, and of course, I've already gave the introduction. Warren is part of our team. He does the Bloom Report. He has his. We didn't mention that earlier, so he has his own broadcasting as well. While we're bringing you in, Warren, we're just talking about the virus that's out there, and well, I'm just calling it the virus because it's terrible in the sense that even washing your hands. I mean, they're just coming up and saying anything. Right now, people are just coming into contact with this just sitting in a car with someone. So if you wash your hands, or if you get in the same car with somebody, and next you know you get out that car, you had a virus. This thing is serious, and there's no cure for it. The quarantine basically works like this.
Well, first of all, there's always a cure for pestilence and famine as we know it today. Of course, is nothing new. It's been here since.
Okay, well, Warren, you're talking about scripture. We're not talking scripture right now.
All right, no, what I'm simply saying is that the first thing that we don't want to do, and I'm sure Jan will agree with me, we cannot act out of fear because that leads you into other things. But I'm simply saying to you is that, of course, like the Vice President and other health officials have said, we have to use common sense situations when you're dealing with this. Of course, a lot of hand sanitizers are probably, the sales has increased a lot. I understand that nationally, compared to a lot of other nations, we still are at a low risk with this situation. But I want people to realize, first of all, you can't live your life in fear. You have to still try to go about your day in the best possible light in the way you can. I simply would just ask people to observe, of course, a lot of what the health professionals are telling you. I agree that sometimes you have to now punch, you do the hand punch as opposed to somebody's hand. A lot of times you'll see a lot more of that happening today. They said, I don't think there's been any reported in Pennsylvania as of yet. Has there been any updates of this virus here in Pennsylvania?
Okay, continue.
All right, so I'm simply saying that, you have to be prayerful about everything you're doing. The spirit, you're right, there's of course a natural situation that people have to deal with. I always deal with things from a spiritual standpoint, and of course, and I'm for all those people who want to choose that route, I tell them to use Psalms 91, which talks about the pestilence and that it won't come near you. So I'm just an advocate of prayer, and I believe that. However, I pray also that a serum or some sort of some sort of inoculation will be made soon concerning this issue.
Okay. Well,
But the main thing is to try to keep a level head and don't let fear grip you.
yeah, of course, and that's why we're discussing it so everybody here can really take it seriously. But right now, there's no cure for it. So, I mean, we want to be honest, and that's the problem, and that's the complaint when it comes to the President of the United States, Trump. The way he's handling this is just terrible.
Yes, he's
That's factual.
politicizing this thing. He's politicizing it, and that's a terrible thing. And, of course, he has not been truthful
Exactly.
and forthcoming with the facts, even, from the initial response to this virus. So I think you have to just do a general clearer and coming out, stuff like that. I suggest that as well, and that's not a very expensive thing to to carry some sanitary wipes or some those bleach wipes. But I guess whatever that's going to make you feel comfortable, and please do that.
Right, and I wanted to give out some more important information. So this virus is affecting primarily people who are older. So it's very important. So if you're taking care of loved ones who are older, what is older? But, we know people who are in their 70s. We know that most of the people who have been affected by 70s and up, for some reason, their immune system is not strong enough. Now, and I want to mention another thing, though, because, just because they're saying older, so if you're young or youthful, you think, you're fine. That's not true. Health-wise, basically, you have to really know your white blood cell count. The lower that your white blood cells are, the more possibility that you can just be taken out very easily.
You can be affected. Okay.
Very easily, yes. White blood cells is what is your defense. So a lot of us are walking around, we're young, but we may have a low white blood cell count, and especially in the Black American community. I know they say African American, but the fact that I talk about all Black Americans, so when I say Black Americans, it's the same thing. That for some reason, according to doctors, most Black people, our white blood cells are low anyway. So that's why I'm telling you that we as Black people, we need to really pay attention more so, because we can be just taken out just like that because of the white blood cells. So next time that you do have your visit to the doctor, or if you're not feeling well or so forth, you should always get your blood drawn. I mean, these are the basics. And in the Black American community, we are the ones known for avoiding going to the doctor. So that's why this is so important. It's not, speaking on causing a panic, but it's just speaking on letting you know health-wise how serious we have to take that. That's just one of the points that I wanted to bring out with that. All right, so while we have you here, Warren, it's 2:52. We're going to hold you for the next 8 minutes. Let's go into what's happening in politics, man.
Well, of course, Joe Biden's Super Tuesday win was huge.
Yes.
Of course, all on the heels of a black man out of South Carolina. And this is the real deal. If Mr. Biden doesn't come up with an African-American female running mate, he's done, and I'm not supporting him.
Yeah, I agree.
It's an insult, and it's a slap in the face to the African-American community. People are afraid of diversity. They said Barack Obama couldn't get in. They said a lot of people couldn't get in that got in because of their diversity. Mm-hmm. This has to be a diversity race. A black female, I'm thinking Stacey Abrams, who almost won the Georgia governor, who they blocked her. She lost by a hair.
Oh, yeah. I remember
be a
that.
Perfect running mate for Joe Biden. I like Kamala Harris, but with Stacey Abrams, she's more safe and she doesn't have the political baggage.
Right.
I don't know why women don't like each other. I don't have a problem with Kamala Harris at all. But the women, y'all got to stop hating on each other.
Yeah.
So my point is, I think Stacey Abrams is a very safe pick for Joe Biden. Again, she's those sort of a neutral, and her political, savvy right now, and she's a brilliant young lady, and I think she would make a great vice president. So that's what I'm hoping. If I could get a message to Joe Biden, you better not mess up right now.
Right.
Yes.
I think an African American, whether male or female, is good, but the female part would get all the women into it. That's why it's important that I believe anybody running against Donald Trump, if they don't have a female running mate, even Bernie, they're probably not going to win.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
well, I'm just going to speak and say, disclaimer, this is my personal views, Van Stone, political analyst. I'm going to say that the race is not over. Bernie Sanders is still there. And basically, the better choice, in my opinion, for black Americans is Sanders. Now, of course, if Sanders loses, then, everybody has to get behind Biden, like you said. But this is the moment of the woman. That's my view. So, in other words, I'm saying the same thing you're saying. Because they've been so dirty with the women, the candidates. I mean, they did everything they could to not support them, to put out all kind of false stuff. And then, they stood up there and then stood up there and denied it. We're not doing this and doing that. So all along, the party, Democratic Party, has their own mindset of who they want to be there.
Right.
So, but because of Trump and this man and the danger that he can bring to the whole country, then basically a woman should be the vice president, the VP, running mate. As far as Harris is concerned, if they went that way with Harris, the only reason why it would be a problem, in my opinion, is because from the beginning, Harris went at Biden and exposed him.
Yes.
But that's what ruined her. So once she did that, that was it. They launched all-out attack against her. So if Sanders manages to come through, then a Harris-Sanders, that would be great. But if Biden gets it, I really don't know, man, like who he could pick. I don't really know. It's tough, but he would have to pick the right one. See, there's a lot of women. He would have to pick the right one, because if he doesn't pick the right one, it's still not going to work. He's going to lose.
Yeah.
Well,
He's going to lose.
I believe in this case, Stacey Abrams has the national recognition
Yes.
amongst probably any other African American female that could qualify as a good running mate. So let's hope that they keep that in mind.
Right. Well, but here's the problem. You okay? This is a United States race.
Right.
So what's happening is now with the moment of the woman. That's why I'm calling that. It's the women who have brought everybody together. This is just my opinion on race. There's only two races, black and white. That's it. So everyone else are groups of white people, black people, and then you have all these cultures. So when you have people like Elizabeth Warren, who has a large following, you have a lot of women that are, in support of her. To pick an unknown for all communities still might be a problem. So because we need to vote. Right now, the black vote is the highest vote, but then also things have changed where now in the white community, that has changed now. The white community has changed also and going in the way of the direction of supporting the black issue. So the real problem is, this is going to shock you, not me, but the problem is the black men. So the black men are doing the same thing, just like what the white men did to the white women. So the white men don't want a white woman doing anything. That's why the white women couldn't get a vote. Now today in 2020, the black men are doing the same thing. So we have all this negative talk against black women and women in general. So what's happening is you have black men and white men coming together, and they see it, and that, they would lose all control. So that's what's happening here,
But if you have, excuse me for interrupting, if you have any woman that shows great intellect, then she's a threat, period, black or white.
Exactly. And so with politics, you have to pick the woman who has a strong following, because then there's a lot of fraudulent women out there too who have abandoned the black man. And so when you get a woman, whether she's white or black, who supports the black man, that's really what this is about. Then here we go again. So Biden, he represents the regular establishment. Has nothing to do with Obama. Obama set us up to get closer.
But if Biden has a better record with the black community as opposed to Warren or anybody or any other
Yeah, he does. But let me say this, and we have like one more minute. Let me say this. Even though he has the black following, we need the vote of the women. And so if there's more women voters and they're white
Yes.
and they're, we need them. So then again, that's where Biden's going to be in trouble if he doesn't select the right woman. So we're wrapping up here, Warren. It's time for us to
Thank you so
go.
very much. And it's nice always talking with you and Jan.
Well,
Looking forward to coming back on, of course, throughout the rest of this season.
okay.
And we're looking forward to reminding everybody to vote in the 190th for Van Stone. The change you can count on.
Okay. Well, Janet is not here yet. She's not on the air, but we did mention her, so we already know she's a part of the team. We're going about to sign off. This is Van Stone,
Yes.
Antoinette, David Anthony, Jay Wilson, WVSR, 1360, PhillyHotRadio.com, Philly Funk Radio, Warm, Bloom Report. Oh my God, we have the traffic jam, the traffic thing. We got so much going on. So we want to thank our guests for calling in. Especially the entertainers, and please just take note, follow up with us as we will continue trying to build up airwaves in the best way we can.
Yes. Thank you, Warren.
We're done.
Thank you, guys. God bless.
God bless. Bye-bye.
All right. See you guys next week. Bye.
All right.